She gave him her heart, her last dollar, and her dreams only to be thrown away for luxury he didn't earn. But when fate flipped the script, the girl he discarded became the woman he could never reach again. Once upon a time in the city of Oak Ridge lived a young man named Evan. Evan was an extremely handsome man who strived to be rich. He was a talented fashion designer who sold outfits for women and owned a small tailoring shop at the corner of a very popular street. His girlfriend Lily was currently doing her community service in Oak Ridge. She was a quiet and loving young woman who met Evan at a friend's birthday party. They got talking and soon became inseparable. For 8 months, Lily made Evan the center of her world. She would visit his shop every day, cook for him, and watch him sew as they talked. She was always supportive of him, helping him clean, modeling his clothes, and even giving him half of the money she received from the government. Lily believed in Evan's dreams even more than he did. She wore the clothes he made and told everyone who cared to listen that he was the designer. Many customers came to his shop because of her. Lily was the kind of woman any man would be lucky to have in his corner, and Evan knew it. One day, he found himself overwhelmed by frustration. Rent was due, customers were scarce, and the money he had was barely enough for food. So when Lily walked into the shop and found him with his head in his hands, she rushed to his side. "Talk to me," she said gently, kneeling beside him, and asked what the problem was. Evan explained everything: the rent, the pressure, the fear that he'd never succeed in life, and Lily rebuked him for saying such a thing. Evan was tired of living in poverty. His landlord was demanding the rent, and he didn't have any savings. Lily couldn't stand to see him cry. She decided to approach the landlord to plead for more time. But the landlord made a shocking proposal. If Lily spent one night with him, he would write off the debt and let Evan live in the house rent-free for an entire year. Lily felt humiliated. She stormed out and went straight to Evan to tell him what had happened. But Evan shouted at her angrily and asked why she didn't agree to the deal. "It's only one night, Lily. How hard could it be to open your legs and let him in?" he said. She stared at him, stunned to hear such a thing come from his mouth. "How can you ask your girlfriend to sleep with your landlord?" she asked Evan. "If the tables were turned, I would do anything to make sure you never suffered," Evan replied. "Just sleep with him, Lily. It's only one night," he said as he stormed out, leaving her in shock. Lily went home that evening in tears. She couldn't believe Evan would make such a ridiculous suggestion. As she sat there crying, an idea suddenly came to her. "He can come live with me," she thought, and called his phone. But Evan wasn't having it. "How dare you expect me to move into that tiny room of yours?" he said, and hung up the phone angrily, leaving her in tears. In all those months, Lily had never seen Evan act like that. She felt awful for not agreeing to his demand and wished there was more she could do. At that moment, her phone rang and Lily rolled her eyes, ignoring the call. It was Ryan, a young man she had met while walking home one evening. He was handsome and wealthy, but Lily wasn't interested. She loved Evan too much to imagine being with anyone else. She sat staring at her phone as Ryan called again and again. Then she got an idea. She picked up the phone, pretending to be in distress, and Ryan panicked. "What's wrong?" he asked. "I need some money," Lily said. Without thinking twice, Ryan agreed to give her the money. He sent it to her account, and Lily, filled with excitement, rushed to withdraw the cash and take it to Evan at his shop. But when she arrived, she found him flirting with another beautiful woman. Her name was Brielle, not only stunning but also wealthy. Lily could barely stand the sight of Evan with someone else. She approached them angrily, determined to find out what was going on. But Evan wrapped his arm around the woman's waist and sneered. "Oh, Lily," he said sarcastically. "Can't you see I'm busy? How dare you barge into my shop like you own the place?" Brielle let out a mocking laugh as she looked Lily over from head to toe. Lily stood there, stunned and hurt, clutching the envelope of cash she'd gone through hell to get for him. Evan completely ignored her as he held Brielle and kissed her in front of Lily, loudly declaring his undying love for her. Unable to take the betrayal, Lily ran out of the shop in tears. She got home and locked herself in her room, the painful scene replaying in her mind over and over. She couldn't believe what had happened. She couldn't understand how Evan could do this to her after everything she'd done for him. She lay on her bed, heartbroken, calling his number repeatedly, but he never answered. Instead, he blocked her, cutting her off completely. Lily cried all night, her pillow soaked with tears. She remembered how Evan once held her hand in his shop and made promises to her. It was one rainy evening when the whole neighborhood had lost power. The sound of generators hummed in the background as Evan sat across from her and said in a low, certain voice, "I may not have much now, but one day when I make it, I'll marry you. I'll sew your wedding dress with my own hands, and it'll be the most beautiful dress the world has ever seen." Lily had laughed and teased his sewing skills, and Evan laughed too as he pulled her close and promised to get better. They kissed under the soft glow of a lantern, not realizing that those quiet nights would one day become the most precious memories she'd cling to when everything else fell apart. Now, in the silence of her tiny room, Lily buried her face in her pillow, the betrayal cutting deep. She still couldn't believe Evan could do such a thing. When morning came, despite her pain, part of her still needed answers. She convinced herself that if she could just speak to Evan face to face, he'd explain, maybe even apologize. So, with swollen eyes and trembling hands, Lily left her house that morning and headed to his apartment. She arrived minutes later and knocked gently on the door. Evan answered after a while, and standing next to him was Brielle, now wearing a short silk robe. She glanced at Lily and asked, "What are you doing here this early in the morning?" Lily couldn't hold back her tears. She turned to Evan and pleaded for a moment to talk, but he looked at her like she was a stranger. "Talk about what exactly?" he said mockingly. "I told you it was over. You really shouldn't be here, Lily." She handed him the envelope of money, hoping he would see the sacrifice she had made and change his mind. But Evan laughed in her face and said something Lily never expected. "While you were out there spreading your legs to get this money," he sneered, "my darling here was signing over the deed to this house. She bought it for me, Lily, something you could only dream of. You're beneath me. The sooner you realize that, the better." Brielle scoffed and stepped toward Lily. Without warning, she lunged forward and slapped her hard across the face. "I don't know who you think you are," she hissed. Brielle snapped as she continued. "People like you don't belong here. Your entire bloodline isn't worthy to lick my feet, let alone stand next to me. So next time I catch you anywhere near my man, I'll make sure you learn a lesson you'll never forget," she hissed, turning back inside with Evan, leaving Lily utterly humiliated. Tears streamed down Lily's face as she turned and ran down the stairs, her chest burning with pain and shame. She staggered into the street, heart pounding, barely able to breathe. As she stood on the sidewalk, Brielle threw her things down from Evan's apartment above. Broken and devastated, Lily gathered her belongings and began to head home. The sky had started to drizzle, as if the heavens themselves mourned with her. She stood by the roadside trying to hail a cab when a sleek black car pulled up beside her and someone called her name. The window rolled down. It was Ryan, the wealthy, kind man who had always loved her and was willing to do anything for her. "Lily, my God, what happened to you? Get in the car," he said, quickly unlocking the door. Lily hesitated but got in. As soon as she sat down, she burst into tears. Between sobs, she told Ryan everything, how much she had loved Evan, all she had sacrificed for him, and how he had still chosen someone else. Ryan gripped the steering wheel tightly as he listened, his heart aching not just for Lily's pain, but for all the times he had watched her pour her love into someone who didn't even deserve her shadow. "Lily," he said softly, reaching over to hold her hand, "you did everything right. He didn't deserve you, and what he did today, that's on him, not you. So don't blame yourself for his cruelty." Imai sniffled and looked away, her eyes red and wet with tears. "But hear me," Ryan continued with a quiet firmness. "One day, he's going to regret losing you. And when he does, I hope to God he never finds you again. He dropped her at home, promising to check in later. Lily walked into her house, shut the door, and sank to the floor. She was overwhelmed, furious at Evan, heartbroken, but still deeply in love with him. She didn't know how to live without him. Evan, meanwhile, was living his best life. His rich girlfriend, Brielle, had completely transformed his world. She upgraded his shop, bought him a luxury car worth millions, and funded his entire lifestyle. He flaunted his new wealth on social media, designer clothes, champagne, exotic trips, and an A-list social circle. Evan now rolled with the top-tier crowd in town. One day, Brielle told him they had to attend a high-profile party in Lagos. It was unexpected, but he had no choice. They flew out, and at the airport, Evan ran into Lily, who was also headed to Lagos for her own business. The trip was awkward for Lily, but she carried herself with quiet dignity. Evan, on the other hand, felt a strange tightness in his chest. Lily looked different, stronger, radiant, even happier. But he brushed the feeling off, reminding himself that Brielle had given him a life Lily never could. They sat in different parts of the plane, and once they landed, a driver was already waiting for Evan and Brielle. Evan had never been to Lagos before and was thrilled. Brielle took him to a luxury apartment to get ready for the event. A few hours later, they were dressed to the nines and headed for a party full of politicians, oil moguls, and power players Evan had only ever seen on television. Days later, it was time to return to Port Harcourt, but Brielle had an emergency meeting to attend and stayed back, sending Evan home alone. He had customers waiting, so he couldn't delay. When he arrived back at his fashion house, a group of uniformed officers were waiting for him. They told him his attention was needed at the station. Confused and frightened, Evan followed them only to be arrested for money laundering. He had no idea Brielle had been using his business as a front to launder drug money. She'd kept everything from him, carefully hiding the truth while spoiling him with gifts and luxury. Brielle had registered multiple companies in Evan's name, used his fashion house to move suspicious funds, and routed massive transfers through bank accounts he had unknowingly signed off on. The small boutique Lily once helped him sweep and organize had turned overnight into a lavish showroom, not from fashion sales, but from blood money. And Evan, blinded by soft kisses, champagne, and a luxury lifestyle he never earned, never once asked the right questions. At the station, he was handed stacks of incriminating documents, papers with his signature, bank statements, fake invoices, links to drug cartels. It all felt like a surreal nightmare. "I don't understand," Evan whispered, his voice barely audible. "This has to be a mistake." But the officers had seen it too many times: scapegoats dressed in Versace, pretty faces used as paper fronts. "Where's Brielle?" he asked desperately. "Gone," one of the officers replied. "She vanished the moment you boarded your flight from Lagos. Passport disappeared. Phone's dead. Her place is empty." Evan sat frozen, stunned, humiliated, shattered. Everything he once flaunted, his car, his designer clothes, his friends, it was all gone. None of it had ever truly belonged to him. And now, all he had were handcuffs and money laundering charges. Despite his pleas and explanations, no one believed he was innocent. Every document had his signature. His life had been weaponized against him. He was sent to prison, the luxury stripped away, the fake status crumbled. Evan had no one to call. His so-called friends cut him off, blocked his number, denied they ever knew him. Alone behind bars, Evan was forced to confront the wreckage of his choices. Regret gnawed at him. He wished desperately that he had never left Lily for Brielle. But wishes don't undo betrayal. They don't unbreak hearts. They don't unlock steel doors. On a cold, thin prison mattress, Evan stared at the cracked ceiling. Faces flashed through his mind. His landlord, old customers, fake friends, until all of them faded. Only one remained: Lily. The only woman who had ever loved him for who he truly was. The one who had stood by him when he had absolutely nothing. He remembered her laughter when she brought food to his shop, her tears when he told her, "Just sleep with him, Lily. It's only one night." A single tear slid down his cheek. He bit his lip, trying to hold back the sob crawling up his throat. He was alone, and that was his truest punishment. In a desperate moment, Evan managed to find a phone and dialed her number from prison, hoping, just hoping that she'd answer. The number was disconnected. His hope crumbled. Months passed. Every effort to reach her failed. So Evan gave up hope. He accepted his fate, survived day by day behind bars. Then, 2 years later, something unexpected happened. Brielle was finally apprehended by international police. With her arrest, the entire case reopened. New evidence came to light, along with a confession from one of her accomplices. It proved that Brielle had been the mastermind behind a massive, international money laundering ring. Dozens of innocent identities, including Evan Shaw, had been used as fronts. Evan was exonerated, cleared of all charges. But his freedom came at a terrible cost. By the time he stepped outside the prison gates, he had lost everything. His business, his reputation, his home, his pride, his once handsome face had grown hollow. His eyes were heavy with sorrow and betrayal. His soul bore invisible scars that no sentence could ever erase. He had no money, no friends, no place to stay. With nowhere else to go, Evan packed the few belongings he had and returned to his village. When his mother, now old and frail, opened the door and saw him, she burst into tears. "My son," she wept, "you left to chase the world and came back with nothing but pain." Evan said nothing. He simply bowed his head. For days, Evan barely left the compound. Villagers whispered as they passed. The once promising fashion designer from Port Harcourt now lived in obscurity, with no future in sight. But nothing could have prepared him for what he saw one afternoon. One of his wealthy uncles returned from abroad and stopped by the village. Evan decided to pay him a visit. As he entered the house, something in the corner caught his eye: a souvenir bag with an image printed on it. He froze. On it were Lily and another man dressed in elegant traditional attire, married. Evan stood in silence, pain flooding his chest as he turned to his uncle. "How do you know her?" His uncle smiled and replied casually, "Lily? Oh, she's the daughter of the Enugu state governor. Her family is very influential, and the man she married, Jonah, that's my friend's son." Evan's hands trembled as he picked up the bag. The photo showed Lily and Jonah beaming, regal, radiant. She looked peaceful, joyful, glowing. His uncle continued, unaware of the emotional storm inside Evan. "She's such a humble girl. Can you believe it? Even during her national service, she lived like an ordinary Corps member, refused any special treatment from home, principled to the core. That's the kind of woman you thank God for if she ever walks into your life." Evan swallowed hard, his throat suddenly dry. How did she end up with Jonah?" His uncle chuckled. "Jonah showed up when everyone else walked away. She thought the man she was dating would marry her, but he dumped her for someone else, nearly broke her spirit. But Jonah, he stayed. Loved her through it all. And now look at them married, happy, respected. She even runs a charity foundation now, helping young women and single mothers. Amazing woman." Evan couldn't speak. His mouth hung open slightly, but no words came. The girl he once told to just sleep with the landlord. The same girl whose tiny room he had mocked, whose love he tossed aside. She wasn't just from a wealthy family. She was now married into another powerful one, admired, respected, and adored. And he was a shadow of the man he used to be. Broke, nameless, forgotten. No job, no future, no legacy. In that moment, Evan realized pride had been his downfall. He lived the rest of his days quietly in the village, reflecting on the choices that led him there. Meanwhile, Lily lived a beautiful, fulfilled life. Jonah cherished her deeply, and she thanked God every day for the love she had found. She never looked back with regret. The lesson? True love should never be traded for temporary luxury. Humility is a silent power that outshines pride. Evan's downfall wasn't poverty, it was arrogance, greed, and his failure to recognize worth in simplicity. Lily's strength, loyalty, and integrity carried her to greatness, while Evan's thirst for status left him with nothing but sorrow. In life, never despise small beginnings. Never betray someone who would have given you the world with bare hands. Because sometimes, the one you discard today becomes the person you can never reach again. I hope you enjoyed the story.